listening to The Real Fan Review with Hav, Sanj, Al, and B.
What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from The Real Fan Review. Today, we're going over AMC's protocols for getting us back in the theaters. We're also going to go over Spider-Man 3's new name that we'll see if the fellas like it and what they think of it. Also, we're going to get into our Project Power review. We're also going to see if people still buying physical media, especially out of the three of us here. And if Sanjay jumps on, we'll see what's up. And maybe we'll talk about some other things, like what the theaters can do to make us more interested in the theaters. But let's get right into it. With us today, we got my man in the chair, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
Yeah, we got my brother and yours, B-Dog.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's get right into the news, man. The first thing this week was Spider-Man 3. There's a rumor going around saying that they got a new name for Spider-Man 3, which is called Spider-Man Homesick. Al had his money on Homeless.
Yeah, man.
But Homesick. And I'm not too crazy about the name. It doesn't really hit like, what was it? Far From Home was the first one. The second one, and the first one was...
Yeah, the first one, Homecoming.
Right?
Yeah.
Even Homecoming was like kind of cheesy, but you got it because he was coming back to the MCU for the first time, kind of thing. But
it's a realization that Sony just doesn't listen to our podcast. Maybe they should change that.
You know what? Homesick's it's pretty close to Homeless, so you know. Al, man, what's your thoughts, man? Spider-Man Homesick. If this is the title, again, this is a rumor, so.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering. See, by them doing Homesick, it's implying that he's been away from home for a while.
Right.
So I'm wondering, like, is there going to be a time jump? How much of a time jump, if there's one, it's going to be? Why are they needing to push it forward if that's what they're doing? Because obviously he's not home, he can't come home. He's obviously having to stay away because he's now a criminal.
Right.
So it'll be interesting, especially given the criminal that's the antagonist that's rumored to be for this one. It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out and works into it. But in terms of a name, I wasn't a fan when I heard it. I was hoping it's one of those false rumors to throw us off.
Yeah, man, I got you, man. I thought the same thing. When I saw Homesick, the first thing I thought was the same thing as you. Clearly, he's not going to be able to go home. And that's if you saw Spider-Man Far From Home, the ending, spoilers real quick if you haven't seen it, and you're nuts if you haven't. Mysterio secretly records him and edits it, of course, for him to say that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. And Jameson?
Yeah.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Jesus, J. Jonah Jameson. That's too many J's for me. But, he puts it out there in front of Madison Square Garden on a big screen saying who Peter Parker is really Spider-Man. So, of course, he's on the run now. He left it with the what the? Which was amazing. But, Brandon, man, what's your thoughts on him? Homesick? Yeah. That ain't it.
No, I don't. I mean... I think marketing was really trying to go on this home thing, and I don't know if they got it on the money with that one. I think that was a stretch.
Right.
Maybe they're just trying to throw Tom Holland off.
Not give out the real name. Yeah, I think it's cheesy now. They should stop with the home stuff in the name. It's really getting a little cheesy. But
I mean, I understand, like, this is possibly the last one, I mean, I don't foresee it being the last Spider-Man movie, but, the way they talk about it as if, like, this is going to be the last of the trilogy for Spider-Man and MCU. I'm not a fan of the title, I like Al, with the supposed villain or villains that they've talked about for this movie. I think that plays in well, but I don't think the title is marketably positive.
I got you, man. And of course, like Al kind of hinted at, the rumor is that it's going to be Kraven the Hunter that's going to be hunting Spider-Man down. There's a couple people who want to play Kraven. You got, I think Kinnerman is the guy from Suicide Squad is trying to get into this movie as Kraven. Also, Joe Manganiello, which would be a callback for him being in Spider-Man, the original one with Tobey Maguire. Yeah. He wants to play Kraven the Hunter as well. And it's a villain that we haven't seen just yet. So it would be nice to have him be in the movie. There's a lot of good stories with Kraven the Hunter, so it'd be amazing to see him in that role. There was rumors that Kraven was supposed to be in the Black Panther movie, but that didn't happen. So it'll be fun to see. I mean, what do you guys think of villain-wise? Would you think that it's going to be Kraven the Hunter, or is there someone else you guys would want to see?
I could see it being, I honestly, I really love the Kraven take on things.
Yeah.
Just because, like, the most recent Spider-Man cartoon that they had a storyline kind of similar where Spider-Man was like his like prey that he wanted to catch because he had a TV show. Like Kraven had a hunting TV show where he hunted down legendary animals, and he considered Spider-Man to be like the most legendary of them all. So he came to Manhattan and was hunting them down for this TV show, but Spider-Man proved to be a bit too much, and I think Miles Morales was in the show at that time too. So he ended up turning like a little kind of bad in order to try and make this catch happen. So like I like the storyline that they could use off of that, where Kraven is maybe not even a bad guy. He's like a big game TV show hunter, like kind of a thing, and he's trying to hunt down Spider-Man. It's kind of almost a take on Mysterio in a sense.
Right.
And then, going bad from there, and maybe Norman Osborn is the one who hires him, kind of a thing.
That'd be kind of crazy, man. And, how about yourself, man? Is that something that you're looking forward to? Because I know a lot of people are saying they want Norman Osborn in the movie finally to come into play, but a lot of people are saying Kraven the Hunter. Watch yourself.
Yeah, I would mind seeing Kraven the Hunter. He was one of my favorite of the villains from the Spider-Man series. I just wouldn't want them to make him as out there as he was in the comics, like with the whole lion costume, head as the costume and so forth. So kind of like what they did with Vulture, where they made it a little bit realistic, where instead of him with wings and everything, it was like a flying device. So if they made Kraven maybe like either like what B was saying, like a hunter, a game hunter, or just a real high-end mercenary that gets hired by some group to bring in Spider-Man. So something along those lines where they ground it and make it a little bit more real, but make it, entertaining like they did with Vulture. So I could see him. Norman, I would want that to be almost where that is the plot of the movie, if you're going to bring in Green Goblin and everything. Because right now, it's a lot of this story is going to be about how do you have him prove his innocence and come back home and so forth. So to Raven and Green Goblin, I think that'd be too much. I would want Green Goblin to be by himself if they're going to do that.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. I would probably want the same exact thing. I mean, they've been doing so good with what they've been doing. They do like little mini criminals that are named but don't come in. Like Shocker was in the first one. The Tinkerer was in the first one. The Lizard was he Lizard was named? No, he wasn't named. It wasn't the Lizard. It was Scorpion that was kind of like mentioned and thrown in there really quick, but it wasn't the full villain. The villain was the Vulture, and Michael Keaton killed it as the Vulture. So yeah, man, I'm hoping for kind of the same thing. Just like give us a little main villain, maybe throw in some names here and there that we know as fans, and then they'll do great because so far they've knocked it out the park with the 2 Spider-Man movies they've done so far. So yeah, man, looking forward to that. And the next thing we're going to talk about today, man, is DC Fandom. The DC Fandome Event's coming up this Saturday. Coming up, I believe that's July 22nd. Brandon.
Yeah,
July 22nd. It's going to be a 24-hour event where DC is going to put out pretty much little panels, almost like their own little mini Comic-Con for DC stuff. So, they sent out an email this week saying you can schedule what panels you want to see, and they'll give you access to those panels. So just curious, guys, is there any panels you guys are looking to get into, or any panels that you want to see for sure for yourself? What's any panel that you're looking for?
The panel that I would want to see, I don't know if it was listed, only because it might be a surprise of the whole show, would be any news on a standalone Superman movie.
Yeah. So
because otherwise we know everything else that they're going to talk about, and at this point I wouldn't want to hear anything specific about any of the Aquaman story, the Flash movie, only because at this point I just want to wait for the movie, be surprised, see everything new as it's coming on the screen. but I wouldn't mind hearing, oh, surprise, there is going to be a Man of Steel 2 or some kind of a standalone Superman movie. And I'm hoping that all these stories of, oh, yeah, we're bringing Henry Cavill back, but he's going to have cameos in everybody else's movie. Then what's the point of bringing him back almost? Like, just for cameos? Like, he's too.
Yeah.
Superman is too big of a character, and he's becoming too big of an actor just to have for cameos. So I'm hoping it's more of a surprise. And ta-da, we're putting him on as his own topic to talk about the movie.
Right. Yeah. There's actually a couple panels on there that say to be announced or to be determined later. So I'm hoping one of those comes up to be something like that. That is something I'm hoping for. Me personally, I just want to see what this new Batman looks like. I want to see a trailer for that. And, surprisingly, I do want to see something for Suicide Squad. I wasn't a big fan of the Suicide Squad that came out before, but this one, being directed by, oh my God, the African Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, James Gunn?
James Gunn, yeah. So when James Gunn starts Suicide Squad, I'm looking to see what that's going to be like. His sense of humor and just his overall feel for a group and team and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing those two things because I already know Wonder Woman is going to be awesome. So I just want to see something for Batman. Like, I want to see the feel of it because that one shot we got of Batman turning or just looking down and moving a little bit, with the new Batman suit was cool. The instrument, the score for that was pretty good, but I do want to see a little bit more on that end. Brandon, anything you're looking forward to more on that DC Fandom event?
I'm interested in the whole Black Adam panel, after what, almost 6-7 years now of Black Adam being a thing, we finally get The Rock showing up to be, to a panel. So let's see if there's any kind of teaser or anything like that. So I'm excited for that. The Snyder cut of the Justice League. I'm excited to see what maybe new thing they have to offer for it, maybe new thing they want to talk about. I'm anticipating some kind of deal that's going to pop up to get into HBO Max to watch it, kind of a thing. So I'm waiting to hear more news about that. But I'm hoping that the to be announced thing is maybe a Green Lantern thing. I've been waiting Green Lantern forever. Apparently, there's been like a TV show they've been in talks with. They showed a little bit during the Crisis in Infinite Earths. The whole Green Lantern show, and we haven't heard anything about it since. So I'm hoping there's some kind of Green Lantern announcement.
All right, man. Yeah. And listen, if anyone listening wants to get into that, you just got to go to schedule.dcfandom.com. Again, that's schedule.dcfandom.com. You should be able to go in there. You have to register. You have to make a username and password and everything like that. But once you do that, you'll be able to go ahead and select the panels you would want to be a part of. And then they'll come up and pop up when you go back to that site on Saturday. It's coming up. So that's the DC Fandom event there. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. Something to talk about for sure next week. Yeah. So the next thing I wanted to bring up with you guys is that AMC now, they put out a YouTube video, also some videos on different movie sites, kind of explaining what they're trying to do to get people back into theaters. The one thing that's pretty sucky is that I looked into my theaters in New York and they're not coming to New York just yet. So it's not for us, especially not Long Island, I guess. So I didn't see that anything around us. But the AMC thing, what they're showing is they're doing 30% capacity. A lot of social distancing between seats. There's like 2 seats or 3 seats together or 1 seat by itself, and then definitely space around it. So at 30% capacity, I don't see how they can make a lot of money off of that 30% capacity. But, that's in the safety of us to go to see the movies in the theater. But AMC is also trying to introduce something where they're doing on the first day back, which is this Thursday, the 20th, they're going to do movies for 15 cents. And it's going to be Ghostbusters, Avatar. I saw Goonies on there, and I think it was another one, Black Panther also. So 15 cents for the opening night at AMC. Then I believe that Friday and Saturday they're going to do movies at $5 on Friday, $10 on Saturday, and then they'll go into normal pricing sooner or later after that. So just looking at those protocols there, and I'm sure Al, I'm going to give you like a little link to probably put up there for everyone to look at. But what's your guys' thoughts on AMC's, like what they're trying to do? They're doing electrostatic shocking the chairs after each visit. There's going to be wipes everywhere. Is that enough, or should they be doing anything more, anything else? What's your thoughts on that, Brandon?
I feel like with all reopening plans, it's just coming down to how how much is it going to be enforced, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when you know, not to downplay anyone who works at a movie theater, you know, I know I've worked at a movie theater for about a week and then left. You know, you most of the time they're hiring younger kids, you know, or teenagers, you know, to be honest, more teenagers, younger adults. Um, the whole cleaning routine thing, I know myself as a young adult teenager, my sense of cleaning was give it a quick wipe and move on, you know, and not spend an intensive amount of times cleaning. So I want to know how much this is going to be enforced. Now, I believe in people to be able to do the right thing, but I also know what it's like to have a really hectic day working, and maybe you start off half the shift doing an extensive clean, and by the end of the shift you kind of think, oh well, I know, you know, I don't have to go so hard at this and that, blah blah blah, so you spend less
Right.
time cleaning and not maybe not as effective as you were before, you know, and how does that carry over into the second day? So, and then the whole thing, you know, in this country right now, not to get political in any sort of way, but there's still a good group of people who are fighting the whole mask thing, you know. So the whole, you have to, everyone at AMC theaters has to wear a mask. I just hope that doesn't come into someone wears a mask coming into the movie theater, and when they go to their seats they take their mask down, kind of a thing,
Gotcha.
you know.
Yeah.
So
How they
I'm
enforce that? Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
cautious at the approach, but I believe in, if they were able to enforce that fully, you know, some, they have two guards in the theaters watching to make sure those masks are on. People are, you know, holding to the you know, to the social distancing that they've set up in the theater, whether it's seats that are blocked off, people aren't trying to move those cones, things like that, like they do at the beach. You know, if those are being enforced, then I can see myself having some sort of safer feeling. But
Mhm.
if I see it kind of just being that nonchalant, like these are the rules and you should follow it kind of a thing, then I'm going to be hesitant.
Yeah, man, I hear you, man. Because yeah, I actually had like a quick like 5 minute conversation with the wife about it, just letting her know about what the protocols are, what they're doing over there. And then when I told her, I was like, it's 15 cents, you know, for the first day. You know, she kind of said, "Would you still want to go?" And I said, "You know what? I would for the 15 cents too." One thing is like kind of just walk in to see what it looks like, what they're doing, and if it works, and if I'm comfortable with that. And then if I'm not, you know, 15 cents, I could just leave. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
how about you, Al, man? So, what do you think about what they're trying to do over there?
I mean, I was reading the email and the website, and I feel bad because they're going all out. I mean,
Yeah,
they're bringing in the new filter system. They're upgrading all their ventilation systems. They're going to be vacuuming with HEPA filtered vacuum cleaners. They're
yeah,
putting masks. They're requiring everybody to come in with masks, and they'll sell you one if you don't have one. Um, like you said, they're putting wipes everywhere so that if you feel something needs to be wiped down, there's going to be sanitary, wipes for you to wipe the counter down and everything. So they're trying. I think if this fails, it's going to be not because of their effort. I think it'll be because of the concerns and fear of the public, because they are trying. I'll give it for a company that knows that they're relying on people coming in. They are putting the effort in. I'm not going to deny them that.
yeah,
So it's just going to be a fear factor with the people if that doesn't work, because
yeah, man. Absolutely.
there's only so much more they can do. I don't what
Yeah,
they're fixing their ventilation system. They're vacuuming the floors. They're giving you wipes to clean anything that you feel needs to be cleaned down. They're giving you masks. Like, short of giving you an oxygen tank, there's not much more they can do.
Imagine you
So,
walk in to buy a ticket and they give you the vaccine. Yeah,
yeah, man.
then you
So,
know it's safe. You're like, oh, okay, we
yeah.
can go to the movies
Eh,
now. You
Yeah.
know?
And then on top of it, like you said, 15-cent tickets, $5 afterwards for a couple of movies for the
Yeah,
next weeks. They want people back badly, and I mean, and they're trying.
They
So
want to show how safe it is.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I hope
Can't
it works.
knock them for it, man.
Yeah,
They're trying. Don't know if
yeah.
it's gonna work for me, but they're trying.
So I'm actually I saw the post, and unfortunately for me, and I guess in a way, I'm on that furlough flow this week, and so I was thinking about that 15-cent movie day on Thursday, and I was like, well, maybe I think it's a theater in Connecticut that's opening. Um,
Ah,
so
okay.
I was like, maybe I'll take the trip to see what it's like, you
Right.
know. see what's going on in the theater, see how it looks, see what they're enforcing, how they're enforcing it. Maybe I'll stay for the movie. It's 15 cents, just like you said, you know. So
Walk out.
you know, I'll see how it looks, see how things are going, and then I might catch the movie if I feel comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And listen, to everybody who can go check it out. Again, if you want to give it a trial run for us, let us know how it goes because we're not going. No, in all
No,
seriousness, if you guys do go, come back, leave a comment below, let us know how it goes. And,
definitely.
of course, we wish you the best and we wish nothing but health and hope that nothing happens. So, we got our fingers for all us movie fans out there for this, to this end soon and for us to get back to watching movies like we love to do. So, yeah,
Yeah.
man. AMC trying their best, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And then the last thing I want to talk to you guys about was there was an article this week regarding physical media, buying DVDs, buying Blu-rays, even buying video games right now. Seems like it's kind of like going down, especially Blu-rays and DVDs. It's going down big time as far as people purchasing. And I wanted to know if I'm the only one because I still like to purchase my Blu-rays. I still like to see them, have the box, have a physical copy of it and everything like that. So I wanted to see, are you guys done buying physical media? Because even if you guys don't know, PlayStation 5 and also the Xbox are coming out with new game systems, and they're giving you an option of a diskless version of those video mediums. And I'm like, am I the only one that's still buying these movies and buying these games, or should I just be digital? Everything just digital.
Mhm.
Al, you're a big tech guy, man. I mean, talk
Yeah.
to me. What are you done buying physical copies of stuff?
Not at all. Not for movies. No, maybe for the video games themselves.
Yeah.
Going with your reference to the Xbox and the PlayStation. But when it comes to a movie, as good as the streaming looks, it still doesn't look as good as when you're playing like a Blu-ray or now these 4K Ultra discs that are coming out. The picture, if you have the TV and the hardware to go with playing that and listening to it,
Mhm.
definitely still perceptually is visible. You can see the difference between that and a streamed movie.
Gotcha.
So for the big movies that I would want to see on repeat, I'm still gonna want a hard copy, a disc that I can play on repeat whenever I want and know I'm getting the best quality.
Right.
Because God forbid that day you want to sit down, you want to watch that movie again, and internet goes down, or for whatever reason, the bandwidth isn't what it should be, and now you're getting a pixelated image. Uh,
Right.
that's fine if there's a movie maybe I wanted to see, and you know what, I can see that again later. But if I was in the mood to really see a movie and a movie I really enjoyed, nah, I'd rather just have the hard copy. So buying anything that I'm going to want to really see and have on my, I don't want to know I'm having it in a queue on someone's file system, and I'm
The
having the
cloud.
hope that because then you're relying on that company staying in business. God forbid they go out of business. What happens?
Right. That's
Yeah,
my fear, man. I mean, Brandon, man, if we were to go somewhere like, there's been times where we've gone to Pennsylvania or Jersey to go camping or something like that, or, staying at a log cabin or something like that.
Yeah.
There's hardly Wi-Fi there, those places. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you got to have a physical copy. And then I love my collection of the Marvel movies from Incredible Hulk and Iron Man all the way to Endgame. And I continue trying to buy these movies. I love to know that I have those copies right there and there. Brandon, what's about you, man? You're a little millennial over there.
And
How do you feel about stuff?
I'm actually gonna hit you guys with a bit of a rebuttal.
Oh, let's see.
So I actually agree with Al to a good extent. Especially when it comes to like the quality of like picture quality and stuff.
Right.
But I would say I think this also comes down to like my physical personality as well. Like I'm a bit of a minimalist with things. Like I don't like having a lot of stuff. So like I have technology, but I'm very minimal with what I have. So like I'll have an Apple Watch, a phone, and a computer. I have an iPad right now, and I'm staring at this thing, waiting for me to sell it. Like I don't like having a lot of things. Like I have
Right.
TVs and not a lot of my own personal things. So I actually, when I saw that the PS5 was going digital, I actually was really impressed with that because I don't like having those video games, like those video games sitting there, especially like if I'm looking at a video game I'm not going to play, I might just try and sell it at GameStop for 15 cents. So like I like the idea of having it digitally on, the system itself, so that way I don't have to see it there, try and figure out a space where to put it, kind of a thing, and then like keep looking
Right.
at it when I don't know what to do with it, kind of a thing. That's just me being a minimalist. Like I don't like having a lot of things.
Right.
But on the movie side of things, I'm also an avid Apple user, So I have a couple Apple TVs now. I have a Apple 4K TV device. So, and I also have a 4K TV. So a lot of the rentals that I've done, or any things I've purchased on my Apple TV, have been on that 4K quality because I have the TV to go with it.
Right.
And then it has physical storage on the Apple TVs. So there's a 32 and 64 gigabytes. So those will download onto the systems itself, and I'll have them there in that quality. So I don't have to worry about bandwidth or internet connection because it's physically on the device. Now, to your point, Javier, where you said if we go on trips, a lot of these systems allow you to like download the video onto these devices, but at the same time, like you're not going to get the 4K look on an iPad. So if you're watching the movie to get that picture quality, you're not going to get it on the go, but you'll have the movie. So like I myself, like I own maybe 5 movies. I don't like to own movies. I don't know. So I have like 5 movies that I personally own, and they're all on my digital devices, and I can watch them from time to time. But there's times like where I watch like Endgame where I want to see it in that picture, so I'll watch it on my 4K TV. But I'll watch it on the go just to watch it on the go because I love the movie. But then like I'll watch like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World on the go because I just love the movie itself. So I see your guys' points to like a whole thing, but then like on my end, being a minimalist, I don't like to have things, and if I can have them on platforms that make it easier for me to see them, like I'm gonna jump on that ship, kind of a thing.
Yeah, well, there goes borrowing stuff from Brandon.
I got nothing to borrow.
He's gonna have to give me the whole entire system or his freaking Apple stuff. That's over with.
Borrow. I got books.
Keep those. I'll wait till they make a movie. Stupid books. Yeah, man. Listen, that's our news for this week, man. It's the biggest, most important news that we saw this week. And then now we're going to go right into our review for Project Power. And man, Project Power. You know what? Before I get into it, let's just do spoiler free. And we'll do a real quick spoiler free because I think there's no way we can talk about this without like going into like what happens in this movie and all this stuff. So, Brandon, what is your spoiler free review of Project Power?
This sucks. This sucks.
All right.
I mean, okay, so from the get-go, the appeal is wide. It's got a great appeal. I mean, it has we're no strangers to the superhero genre being the most popular thing in the last decade or so now. And it's only building steam as much as people talk about that whole like superhero fatigue kind of a thing. And it's really only picking up speed as people are figuring out better formats on how to do it now outside of MCU and DC. So my thinking was like with this movie, I love the idea. Take a pill and you get a superpower. It's the new drug on the street. It's more addictive than cocaine. It's more addictive than meth. It's getting superpowers, and then you can do whatever you want with it. My problem with the story is the story. Like it's just it's not it's not fluid. It's extremely clunky and just doesn't make a lot of sense in many spots throughout the movie. So like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, like he does a great job being who he is, but like his story is iffy. Jamie Foxx just talks half-heartedly the whole movie with like a grungy voice, until the ending where he's like this very poetic talker, and it's just like, oh, I didn't get that throughout half the movie. I think the most fluid of a story that I liked a little bit was, and I pardon me, I forgot the actress's name, but she was our teenage protagonist in the movie, and she came from a struggling neighborhood, like it's New Orleans. And she's a struggling student. She's getting picked on because she doesn't really have a future in mind. Like there's people don't believe in her, and there's a lot of systemic racism kind of thrown in there. Whether that belongs in some aspects of this movie is to be determined. I know they try and base a lot of the movie around that, from what you kind of gather. But it was just clunky throughout. I enjoyed seeing the superpowers because the budget on this movie was really good. Like the special effects were incredible. It's just nothing really worked with it other than the budget.
Yeah, man. Man. Besides Brandon just completely murdering it, and before any of us touched it. Listen, I'm gonna have to agree with Brandon, man. I was a little bit let down by this movie. The pros, it looked fantastic. And also is it Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, man, he did his thing. Not for nothing, Jamie Foxx did his thing also. It's just the story itself wasn't that great. So we'll get more into that when we start talking in the spoiler section of this. But just a quick thing before we get into spoilers, I'm going to say that, don't rush to see this movie. It's not that good. I mean, again, it's visually impressive. Like Brandon just said, the superpowers look kind of cool when it happens. But the theory behind the superpowers, I'm going to get in more into that with the guys in a few seconds. So, because there's something I didn't understand about that. Al, what's your quick, spoiler-free review of this?
Quickly, they tried too much. I think because if you look at what they tried to do with every character, there was a lot of potential there, but they just tried too much, and it didn't allow them to go too deep into everything that they could have gone into. I mean, between Joseph Gordon-Levitt loving his community so much that he was willing to do what he did in order to try to protect it. They could have dealt with battling the question of, is he crossing the line? Is he doing the right thing? So they could have gone that way. Then you have obviously the main point of the story, which everybody is already aware of. You have Jamie Foxx's character looking for his daughter. Why did they take the daughter? And the whole avenue they could have gone there. And then the whole story of this girl who, turns to be, a teen from a low-income home who's struggling with medical issues, not her own, but taking care of a family member with severe medical issues, and then the financial burden that comes with that when you're in a low-income home. So there was so many topics that they could have covered that they only went for the superficial ones, and it kind of killed the story for me. Yeah,
they kind of try to go for all the topics, touch a little bit of everything, and then just centered in on one thing. So it was just kind of crazy, man. But listen, that's our spoiler-free review of Project Power. And as you guys can hear us saying, didn't really impress us much. There's some good aspects to the movie. And, surprisingly, for as bad as we're kind of saying it's still somewhat entertaining because I did watch it all the way through. And it's a pretty long movie. It's about 2 hours long, I think it was.
Just under, it was like a minute and 50 something, an hour and 50 something.
Yeah, so man, that's our spoiler free. So we're gonna get into spoilers now. So anybody who's listening or watching on YouTube, you're gonna want to fast forward a couple minutes there, and we're gonna go ahead and if you're watching on YouTube, and Al usually puts little links to the next section. So feel free to skip along and then come back after you watch Project Power. Or if you don't care, just listen to the rest of this. All right, so let's get right into the spoilers of Project Power. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely Googled pistol shrimp after watching Project Power, and I don't think it really works the way that it showed on Project Power.
It's just Jamie Foxx. That's the yeah. I'm sure that was they were like, Jamie, what power would you want? He's like, pistol shrimp. They're like, what? It's the most musical power that I can think of. Pistol shrimp. The power of sound.
That's insane. And let's get right into the actors first, because I want to make sure it's not the actors, but the story. What did you guys think of Jamie Foxx? Because I thought he handled this movie pretty well. From when he started the movie all the way to the end, he did his thing. I think he did good in the movie. There's nothing about what he brought to the film that I thought was like, oh, this guy's corny, or no, this isn't good. I thought he did his thing, but it's just something about that story just was bad. How about you, Al? Oh, you go ahead, Brandon.
No, you go, Al.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I thought he was playing the character very well. Um, up until like I don't know, maybe I missed it or maybe I got distracted and I didn't. In the beginning of the movie, you have him threatening to kill everybody. Like he's just going nuts because he wants his daughter, and I thought that's
Right.
how they were going to
He
make
was
his
straight up
character.
man on fire.
Yeah, he was going after everybody. I mean, to the point where he even kidnapped the girl, locked her in the back of the truck, was threatening to kill her mom, and he had me believing that he really was going to go kill the mom if this girl didn't fess up to
Right.
what was up.
Yeah.
Then next thing you know, he's life coaching the girl on and teaching her how to rap, and that's how she's going to change the. I'm like, when did Mister Rogers come out? Like, what? But shy of that, he played the character well. Like just like he does with every character so far that he's played. Like I really can see him as that character, and I think he brings his own touch. But that was the only part of the movie, and that's more writing than anything of a
Right.
fault there. Like you focused so much of the movie playing him as this hard line, the major, that all of a sudden he became a life coach and a father to this girl that she was bawling like when he decides to leave at the end. So,
Right.
but no, he did a great job, just like he normally does.
Yeah, man. And Brandon, same for you. What's your thoughts on Jamie Foxx?
I completely agree with Al. Like, the transition, like if you take the true like length of this movie, it looked like maybe it was 2 days in length. So like I wouldn't be bawling over this guy who like threatened to kill my mom like 13 hours ago. Like but like the transition was weird from him being stone cold to being like this like Confucius character, like at the end. I didn't understand the need for the Batman voice for half of the movie. Like I don't know what Army Ranger has that voice and would consider him sane for the Army if he talked like that all the time.
Oh my
So
God.
it was kind of weird, with the voice. It threw me off. I'm like, oh, this guy's like going total Batman over here. So yeah, I mean, Jamie Foxx, I agree with Al. It's the story they gave him, and he did what he was asked to do.
Yeah, man. I mean, Brandon, look me in my eye. Tell me if I'm lying.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be his power.
You're
Like,
lying.
did anybody else think that? Like, I thought he really had the power without the pill, and that was going to be his power. Like, he had
He
to
was
look them
maybe
in
the
the eye.
originator.
Yeah.
All right. And then
Nah,
Jason Gordon-Levitt, I think, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I honestly think that he did good too. I mean, I liked his character. I mean, I thought it was a little bit much at certain scenes. Like, this is my city. I'm like, all right, relax, Batman. Like, this is not a continuation of The Dark Knight Rises. You know what I mean?
No,
So,
Robin. Robin. Remember, he was Robin.
Isn't that a little weird though? Robin, and then okay, but I just thought that his character was a bit much in certain scenes, and my city, like, okay, relax, big guy, my city, So I don't know. There were certain parts of it that I thought it was a little cheesy, but I still thought his character was well done. I thought it was nice. It was an interesting take on a cop that's trying to do whatever he can to make sure that he does protect the city and he does fight crime on an even hand. These people are here taking pills to be superheroes or superpowered villains. So he wanted to match that with his own, you know what I mean? So it was like, it made sense what his character was trying to do.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think it's him or Jamie Foxx that killed this movie. I think it's, like you guys been saying, the writing or the story itself that kind of killed this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I thought his acting throughout the movie was awesome. Like, and super cheesy at times, like you said. But I think he, especially him and seeing him in his other projects, he just takes the part that you give him and he gives it his all. So it just comes down to writing. Like they wrote him terribly. Like that's just what they did. Because he goes exceptional for every role he's given.
Yeah.
Gotcha, man.
Like his motivation, like I was saying before, like they tell us why he's doing. Instead of showing us, they tell us that, some guy tore up through a police precinct and killed a bunch of cops. So now he's trying to level the playing field. Don't tell us, show us. Show that what I would have preferred was see one of these guys on a pill go in, tear up a police station, kill a couple cops, and then he decides, you know what, that's it. I'm going to start taking this pill and
Eye
level
for
up.
an eye, yeah.
Yeah. Show us that that's what the decision he made and why he made that decision. Don't have, show him that he's already taking the pills, the girl's his dealer, and then he has to tell us, oh yeah, these guys are killing cops, that's why I'm doing this. Like, I didn't get hooked into why he was doing this. Like, I would have rather
Right.
seen a scene, and they could have done it real quick, the same way they did that whole have him run into the bank or something because it was getting held up.
Yeah.
Like, that could have been a scene in the beginning of the movie showing why he was now taking the pill.
Was that guy running butt naked through New Orleans?
He was running book naked.
Yeah.
When he came out of the paint, I thought that was pretty cool. But then after that, I was like, he's butt naked running through the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
How does nobody see him? Like, it wasn't like he was invisible. He was changing colors. Why did they have to keep saying, look at the bags, look at the bags? Like,
Oh my God. Now, also, if you can, really quick, just to explain to me if I'm completely missing this. They take the pill, and the pill gives them some type of power from an animal. So,
but they don't know which power.
they don't know which power because it's in them, or they don't know what animal is in that pill. Because then, how do they keep getting the same power every time they use it?
Yeah.
I thought it said like the pill was the same for you. You just don't know what it's going to be the first time you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
that's why he says later on, he goes, "Oh, what's your power?" Like, that's when he interrogates the guy, "What's your power?" kind of a thing. So I think it's like the drug where if you you don't know what it's going to be until you do it, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Right, but
or
you don't know what it's going to be
might
because
kill
you're right, or it might kill you. But my whole thing is like, so you had the character in the beginning who kept turning into fire, right? His body turned into fire. Joseph Gordon-Levitt kept turning into this like hardened, skin, so he couldn't get shot.
Mhm.
But if like, do you have the DNA of an animal in you that brings that out? Is that what they're implying?
Yeah, I think it was that it was already in you, and then this drug brings it out.
I don't know what animal turns on fire.
Yeah. Or how about the ogre? Like, what?
What? Yeah.
See, I thought it was
like an ogre.
I thought it was just like a power, and then like I thought Jamie Foxx was the only one who had an animal type power. That's what I took it as.
No, because they kind of described it as the different animals that's the different powers people were having.
Yeah.
And it was confusing because to me, I'm like, all right, so is it the pill that has the animal power, or does the person inside them have animal genes that the power brings out? Like, that was very confusing, man. But
I assume it's the genes that the pill brings out.
Right.
Because then it wouldn't be the same every time if the pill had the power.
Yeah.
5 minutes. Crazy, man. Then the last thing about this movie, I mean, just again, we all pretty much kind of like just said we didn't like the movie. Like I said, don't rush to go see this movie because it's not that great. But as far as the action itself goes, I did find that some of the action scenes were entertaining, but I don't know, just for some reason nothing memorable. The scene in the under the cash checking place in the basement, that was kind of interesting and cool. But other than that, nothing really sticks besides the beginning of the movie where I forgot that rapper's name, but he turned on fire and
Machine Gun
Kelly, yeah. I recognized him because of all the stuff with him and Eminem, but when he caught on fire, I thought that was pretty cool looking. But at the same time, after that, and even the last boat fight, that whole boat scene, a lot of really nothing memorable, nothing too crazy that I can think of that stood out besides.
They had to save that for the pistol shrimp.
Yeah. Now the one that I thought was messed up was the woman in the tank.
Oh, she froze to death?
That she froze? Like, that was like so drawn out and long. It was
it
like
lasted a solid minute and a half.
Yeah, you saw her suffering as she died, and I was like, damn. And then you saw everything from her point of view as she was dying. Like,
fight going on outside of the window.
And meanwhile, she's there slowly dying from freezing herself to death. I was like, wow.
It's absolutely crazy, man. But yeah, man, listen, you guys hear us talking about it, man. Project Power. It's on Netflix. if you're free, you want to watch something, just waste the time, go for it. But honestly, that's something you should go rush out to go see right away, man.
Yeah.
But yep, that's our Project Power review there. And then today, guys, just to kind of end the podcast up, I got just one last question for you guys. Because with the theaters trying to open up now, and theaters been definitely upgrading all their theaters. They got these new Atmos sound theater sound quality where the sound is coming from the ceiling, the sides, and everywhere to give you the complete surround sound feeling. These screens are doing 4K, going up to 8K now. And then everything else that they do, you know what I mean? Like they got these leather seats that they basically turn into a bed in the theater. So this was wondering, like, is there something that these theaters need to add or can go to next, for you guys that would make it more interesting for you guys to go to the theaters? Is something that you guys would want these theaters to add? Al, I mean, you used to work at a movie theater. What's something that you think that they could add or something that you would want to see done in theaters?
I don't know. The only thing I was thinking was, especially in light of everything that's going on now, would have been like, how they sell these VR masks? I forget which one it is. It's a VR mask, and it makes it seem like you're watching a movie on a big screen.
Right.
And then like you're able to see, like share the movie with friends and everything socially. Like you're able to look over and see your friends supposedly as if they were right next to you.
Right.
I was thinking if they would have come up with something like that, where you can view it on the helmet, but still get that big theater surround sound system, like put into a room so you can enjoy at least the audio that way,
Right.
but see it on the thing and come up with that kind of an experience, so that like to help with this whole social distancing and everything, like maybe something like that for the time being. But in terms of the overall experience, I don't want them to change it. That was what that's one of the main things I love about the theater experience is sitting there in that chair, the big ass screen in front of us, and looking over at each other. But like no, don't put no scents coming out of the chair. Don't
That's
spray
my
me with
allergies.
kid. Don't spray me with mist, because then I gotta wipe my glasses off to see the movie. Nah, I'm comfortable with just the way they got things now. Just improve the audio, the surround sound, everything that they're doing now. Maybe get a better screen system, better clarity on the. But other than that, nah, nothing too crazy.
Just keep it going, right? Just keep improving the visuals.
Exactly.
All right, man. And Brandon, how about for yourself, Brandon? Is there anything that you would want to see done in theaters or in movies themselves, that the theaters that you'd want something done differently or something you want to add?
I mean, to be honest, I feel like the experience itself just doesn't change. I feel like it just upgrades. So the screen at some point is going to be 8K, and then in 20 years that's going to be 12K. Like I think it's just going to be the screens and the luxury. I mean, at this point, even AMC is delivering the food to you at your seat. So like I don't know how much more they can change. Now with what Al said, I thought that was really cool because like if anyone's ever done the Avatar ride at Animal Kingdom, like they give you senses and stuff, so there's smells, you feel the air, and you have the VR headset. And I remember doing that and thinking that was the most incredible ride I've ever been on in my life, like just because like I could smell things without it being like crazy, like it didn't smell like I was getting hit in the face with some Glade plug-in, like it smelled like I was outside, so
Right.
it was casual. And then at some points you did get a little sprinkle, like you did get wet, because you were flying through some ocean and all that stuff. So like I thought maybe that idea could be cool for a certain movie, for a movie of that type, like kind of like Avatar. So Avatar has 4 more sequels coming out. If they did something like that for those movies, I think that'd be pretty cool if done right. Just doesn't have to be over the top. Like I don't need that to be in every movie. Like I don't need to smell gunpowder and Tenet. Like I don't need that.
Yeah, man. I was actually thinking like kind of like the mix of what Al just said and kind of what you just said also, because I was thinking that maybe they come out with a new genre of movies,
like experience,
that
right?
an experience, right, where you are either putting this VR headset on and you're experiencing like you're in, say, an Avengers fight. You're in the middle of it. You are watching the Avengers fight something and you're right there and you feel like you're right there, 3D, with everything going on, the wind, when something like a car flies by, and then with those surround sound as well, you could get something like that. But that seems like a whole different type of experience. But that's something I think that would be, I think people would pay for. That's to me, it sounds amazing. Like being in the middle of a car chase, Fast and Furious, or in the passenger seat or in the back seat of a passenger car, as a passenger in the car of a Fast and Furious scene or something like that, and you're experiencing the tumble and rumble and the cars. Oh, forget it. It'd be amazing. But I think honestly, for movie theaters, the most they could possibly do next is maybe add, like, I remember in the Nintendo 64, they added this little cartridge on the top. They made it rumble.
The rumble pad.
Little rumble pad for the N64. And then after that, pretty much all the controllers now have some kind of little rumble feature. And I think that a little rumble in the chair, maybe, that might be the next step that they go to. And I think that'd be kind of interesting, especially for like, a horror movie or something like, again, one of these action adventure movies when things are happening on the screen, you got the little rumble going on with the Atmos on, forget it. You're more into the movie. It feels like you're a part of the movie. And it's just something I think would be really cool down the road. So, yeah man. That's actually I'm hoping one of these ideas comes out. We got to do this. Yeah, man. But listen, man, that's going to be our podcast for today, man. And again, we usually always thank you guys right about now to say thank you for subscribing. We got a couple new subscribers there on the YouTube page and also subscribing on the podcast sites there. So listen, if you guys are trying to, find us, we're at therealfanreview.com that's our page there. You can make a comment there. Or if you're watching on YouTube, go right down below, leave a comment for us. Let us know what you thought of the Project Power, or if you're still collecting DVDs and Blu-rays. We'd love to know if you're still doing those things. And again, we always appreciate you guys listening. And if you haven't been a subscriber or you're not subscribed, hit that little subscribe button on the bottom there and join on the community here with us. So coming out of New York, we thank you guys for listening. We got my brother B.
Off me to say.
We got our man in the chair, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, myself, Hob. We thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Have a good night.